Kenny, you want to do a Browns backers interview?
I love interviews with Browns backers.
All right, we'll do one.
Okay.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Okay, so this week for our Browns backers interview series, we have the opportunity to chat with Bud Genovese, who is the president of the Bay Area Browns backers. So without further delay, let's go ahead and welcome Bud. Bud, how are you?
Great. Good to be on your show.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And so tell us a little bit about your chapter, where you guys are located, when you were established, viewing locations, all those things.
Okay. Yeah, we actually started in 1986, if you could believe that, with 11 people.
That was before we were born.
Exactly. So, yeah, don't ask. Yeah, I was only 12 years old, right? No, but our original president was Harold Manson, and he was a lieutenant colonel in the Army in Monterey. And he grew up in Houston, if you could believe that, way back. And he used to listen to the Browns from 1946 on, if you could believe that. So he was not an Ohio native. He started the club. He was out in Monterey. Then he moved to San Jose, started the club, and I helped him. 11 of us started the club in 1986, and we've grown over the years. We're actually over 3,000 people, and we're in 6 sports bars: San Francisco, San Jose, Walnut Creek, Livermore. Let's see, did I name them all? And and Mountain View. So we have quite a following in each of those sites, and we seem to dominate those sports bars, even though we have to compete with. There's actually still Raider fans out here, and we have to compete with Raider fans and 49er fans for the attention. But we certainly get a good following, and we get good attention at the sports bars, giving us a nice screen and so on. And so each location has a location leader. So because we're sort of spread out geographically, but that's how we handle each location. I primarily go to the San Jose one.
That's awesome. And not many of the Browns backers chapters are quite that large out there. So that's phenomenal. And I will say you guys are probably having a hell of a time this week with the 49ers being the opponent and some of the back and forth that's going on out there, I would think, right?
Exactly. Actually, every week we have to tolerate the 49er fans and the Raider fans. Actually, they seem to just stick around, and the 49ers now play in Santa Clara. So as you know, it's even though it's San Francisco, Santa Clara is right a suburb really of San Jose. It's right, about 45 miles south of San Francisco. And so we get, again, in the neighborhood I live in, we actually have 49er players that live in my neighborhood. And so we're quite involved with that, putting up with them.
Yeah, I bet. And so talking about your community and things like that, are you guys involved with your community at all? I know most of the Browns backers chapters do like community service work and charity work. What types of things are you guys involved with out there?
So because of our location out here, we do have modest dues, and we use the dues to provide halftime raffles. So we have a free halftime raffle of Browns items, hats and other items that we give out at halftime. So the funds that we collect mainly support the items we buy for each location. Extra funds we donate back to the Cleveland Browns Foundation, and also out here the local humane societies.
Good choices there.
that's basically it. We're probably not as active as some of the clubs in Ohio as far as communities work, but we try to donate extra funds to those two groups mainly. We also have sponsored players to come out over the years. Typically in April or in the spring, we've had Cribs here, Kevin Mack, Ozzie Newsome actually even. And so over the years, we've had many players come out for what we call a banquet. We pay for their travel and their hotel, and it's quite fun. We usually get a couple hundred people for those banquets.
Wow.
Nice. And as far as the charity work goes, every little bit counts and goes a long way. So your work out there is much appreciated.
But let me ask you, do you find that, I know with 3,000 members, that's kind of hard to keep track of everyone, but do you find that most of your membership is folks that either grew up in Northeast Ohio and have moved to that area of the country, or is a lot of it very localized and just people that grew up rooting for the Browns for one reason or the other?
Oh, no, that's a great question. I would say 95% of the people are transplants, people that work in Apple. So in San Jose, we have Apple Computer, we have Intel, a lot of the tech firms, Facebook, Google, right down the street. So we have a lot of tech people, a lot of people that have moved out here. We do have a few natives, though, so it is interesting. We love the natives that join our club, and we have one gal that's going to be going to the Browns game, 49er game. She grew up in the East Bay, a little past Oakland, but all her family was big 49er fans. So when she grew up, she says, "No, I'm going to pick a team." She picked the Browns. I don't know. I didn't ask her how, but they've never been to Cleveland. They're all flying to Cleveland this weekend. And I gave her some tips of where to go, for sure to visit the Rock Hall and so on. Downtown. They're going to stay at the arcade.
And we're happy to have her as a fan, but does she know what she's signing up for?
I know. Well, what's even worse, I have a nephew here, born and raised in San Jose. His dad's from Dallas, but not so much a fan. I brought him to the Browns sports bars. He's a huge Browns fan now.
Or the fans are contagious. You can't help but jump on board once you meet all of us.
Exactly.
When's
it's a lot of fun to meet fans that are not native Ohio, but it's predominantly people that have moved out here, and we've met some great people, and I'm still in touch. I have a friend that I met out here. He moved back to Northeast Ohio, and we're still friends.
Nice. When's the last time you were out this way, bud?
So I was at the Tennessee game, so I still have season tickets in Cleveland.
Oh, wow.
And I sell all the games except one, and I picked a good game to come to.
That was a good choice.
For sure.
Yeah. So speaking of your chapter again, though, are there any upcoming events that you guys are hosting? I know probably this weekend, I would guess, with the 49ers being the opponents, you probably have a lot of things going on.
So the game's going to be on local TV. So our challenge is I'm going to be revving up in the emails for people to come out to the sports bars to show up, even though it's going to be on local TV. And so that's basically it. No party. We do have special parties when the Browns come here. So the last time the Browns were here, they did play the 49ers. Was it a couple 3 years ago? Mm-hmm. Yep. And we had a party the Saturday night before. We had Kevin Mack and basically I think it was Kevin Mack signing autographs. And
friend of the show. We like Kevin.
Yeah, it was quite well attended, and the hotel we picked was in mid peninsula between San Francisco and San Jose, and coincidentally the Browns were staying there. Well, we didn't know that.
Oh wow!
And so none of the players mingled, but some of the coaches mingled around, and we talked to them. It was quite fun.
Nice. So let's switch gears a little bit here. Go over to the football side of things. Obviously, there was no game last week. So let me ask you this: what are your thoughts on the season so far?
Yeah, extremely happy that the defense is so solid, and I think a little bit surprised at the last game, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the offense handed some of the field position to the Ravens, the purple. We call them the Purple Browns and
Ratbirds.
the Ratbirds.
Yeah.
Purple Browns. I like that. Though.
Yeah. They definitely the offense underperformed and gave up quite a bit of field position to the opposing team for sure.
And it was DTR's first game. He didn't play great.
So, but we're quite excited, with the team, and of course everybody was so disappointed with the Chubb thing, and we're very hopeful that the left tackle will learn to block better. Have you heard of anything on that?
We wish we had really good news for you that said he learned to block overnight, but so far he still seems to be a little bit of a turnstile.
I did hear locally though today some rumor mill on the trade block that they were potentially looking at least bringing someone else in for the rest of the season just to see if that pushes him or if they need to replace him. So I think we're going to get an answer on that sooner than we think.
So, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's an excellent run blocker. Is that right?
Typically, that's what his grades have shown is he's a better run blocker than pass blocker. Yeah. Which, I mean, let's be honest, when you have Nick Chubb, typically, I mean, I know he's injured now, but typically when Nick Chubb's running behind you, we need him to be the opposite. We need him to protect our quarterback because Nick Chubb can cover up some of those blemishes and make you look good even when you're not that good. So
exactly,
that run blocking doesn't do much for us right now. So
right, and we have a lot of fans that scream about Stefanski. I'm from the camp that if you have the talent, I don't care who the coach is. And but I guess I'm in the minority. Maybe there's still a lot of heat on Stefanski. Can we talk about that or not?
We can absolutely talk about it. We put heat on him every single week. I'll be honest with you.
Is that right?
We're not big fans of. We actually call him Stefanik on our show.
Stefanik,
because we said that he'll earn his last name back when he starts calling plays better.
Like he did in 2020,
yeah, and so until then, we call him Kevin Stefanik, and I mean that's the bottom line is that we just want him to just call better plays, call more, make the plays make sense is the biggest thing. So
exactly. If maybe you didn't see the 49er game, but Brock Purdy gets the ball out fast. They have a lot of quick screens, and I'm not sure why we're not doing that, and it takes the heat off the quarterback if he's getting rushed, right? And
exactly.
Oh yeah, and it just seems that every time Kevin more or less draws up a play, the difficulty level of it is 10 out of 10, and it's this slow developing deep bomb of a pass that hardly ever works out, and then that one time it does, and he's like, "See, this is why I do that."
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, we're pretty critical of him, but I mean, I think
it's fair,
I'm hopeful
though.
that he turns that around.
I think we just want the Browns to win.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So what does Alex Van Pelt do then?
he's just a name.
Does he help develop the plays, or
I don't know. It's a little bit of a mystery here in Cleveland what he actually does there.
We're not real sure. He just provides console, I guess, to Kevin. But I mean, he called a good game when the COVID game in Pittsburgh when Kevin had to miss the playoff game.
Yep.
Oh, the other thing that bothers me about Stefanski is he's too calm. In other words, there's some horrendous things that he should have been jumping up and down at the refs. Have you guys talked about that? But
for sure, yeah, I think we've seen the opposite of that out of Jim Schwartz this year. I think he's been a breath of fresh air when it comes to providing some emotional leadership to the team.
But the defense responds because they want some energy out of their coach. They don't want this guy that's going to deadpan everything and be calm, cool, and collected in every single situation. Like, yeah, it's probably beneficial in some situations, but if you show no emotion whatsoever, football's not the game for you, buddy.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
But let's take a look at this week's game. I know you guys you get a chance to follow the 49ers a little bit closer than we do out here in Cleveland. So can you give us your thoughts on this week's game?
Yeah. Are they 3.5 point underdogs, the Browns?
I believe they are. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it should be 10.
Yeah.
I'm not a betting person, but if I was, I would take that. And I hate to say this, but unless Wills improves and unless they improve their quickness of getting the ball out, they're going to get rolled. The 49ers just rolled Dallas quite easily. And
Oh yeah.
it could be ugly. And I hate to say that again. I'm an optimist. I think after today they could almost run the table. How's that for optimism? I mean, after the 49er game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong. They should be in at least every one of the remaining games, and there's no reason they shouldn't win or at least have a chance to win all of them.
It just seems like they have a lot of playmakers out there. I think McCaffrey had 4 touchdowns a week ago. Kittle had 3, I think, last night. So they just can hurt you in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, and then not just Boza, but the other, I don't know his name, but the other defensive end is also quite good, and they were both getting after
Zach.
Yeah, and he just didn't have a chance.
No.
Yeah,
Nope.
that front 7 is pretty scary.
Yeah, it is. And so one last question for you here, bud. Deshaun Watson, worth $230 million or no?
Well, that's a yes or no question.
Yep. You can expand.
Yeah, you can expand.
We got time.
I'm quite surprised that they didn't do more homework as far as his method of play. I didn't know he holds the ball so long. It just doesn't work anymore in the NFL. The quick answer is no. It's not worth it. And I actually like, even though he had a bad game, I like Dorian DTR. Is it DTR?
Yep. Dorian Thompson Robinson. Yeah. Yeah, and I know even with the bad game, like you were saying, I know a lot of people are still pretty high on him and still think he has a lot of potential. He was, let's be honest, he was kind of thrown to the wolves at the last minute there, and just
exactly.
Well,
and then
we talked about, the game plan didn't really seem to fit him, right? Because it's your rookie quarterback in your first game, and we put the ball in the air almost 40 times. It's just, again, going back to Stefanski and his play calling, it just didn't seem to make a lot of sense.
Exactly. It's totally wrong. And Wills wasn't blocking, and it was just a awful combination of events. But again, I'm hopeful for Watson, and his injury was sort of a mystery. Have they figured it out yet? Is he?
No,
really
he didn't
hurt?
practice today. We're recording this on Monday. He didn't practice today, so that's concerning coming out of a bye week. We don't know if he's going to play or not.
Yeah, it was expected that at the press conference today that he was going to be kind of ready to roll, and so concerning that they came out and said that he's still not quite 100%.
Right, and I get upset when the national media keeps bringing up his past. That he's paid his dues. That's over with, and I can't stand that. And what do you all think?
It's definitely put us as fans in a tough position, I think. But to your point, that's why the NFL suspended him, right? So that piece is done and paid for. I think the more frustrating part for us as fans now is we were told we were getting this huge upgrade at quarterback position, and to this point he hasn't played all that well outside of the Tennessee game.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess the question is still there, and hopefully it's going to get better. We certainly expect a playoff team. When you have a top defense, you should be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
You would think that.
yeah, absolutely. And go ahead.
I was going to say, so, Bud, I see you got some merch on there that has your Bay Area Browns logo, and then there's a shirt in the back. I'm guessing these are things that you guys have put together for your chapter.
So each year we do a redesign of the shirt. So the front still has our regular logo, but the back, we got permission. I don't know if you can see it, but we got permission from when we did this to do the Jim Brown. So it says, I'm really doing bad here, huh?
No, you're
great.
fine.
We can see it perfect.
And so Jim Brown, the greatest, and just a memory of him. And then on the bottom we have that we're part of the Browns backers worldwide, and list some of the cities.
Very cool.
And so,
Awesome.
What I'm always amazed too, as far as when you hear the national media, they go, "Oh, look at all the Browns fans in the stadium out here. They must have all flew in from Cleveland." No, they don't realize that there's Browns backer clubs all over the United States.
Yep.
And I'm not
Everywhere.
sure when that's going to ever get educated at the national media level.
Maybe these guys will start listening to Burning River Sportscast, and we can let them know that you guys are everywhere.
Hey, we're everywhere. And even in London, I met the London. Have you interviewed Paul Brown in London?
Not, no.
We have not, but I will say I just traveled to Ireland recently, and I didn't get to go in and talk to anybody, but I saw there's a Dublin Browns backers organization out there.
Right.
So
You should check out on Instagram, Paul Brown UK. So he's quite a fan, and he's a native Londoner, and it's
I do know that name. I think
it's just. I guess that's maybe why he picked the Browns, but no relation. But he's quite a character and big fan.
So, final question for you here, Bud. What's your record prediction for the Browns? What do you think they're going to finish? Let's go with that. What do you think their final record is going to be?
Oh, wow! So I think they could win 11 games.
Nice.
So what's that? 11-6?
Is there
6?
Yep.
And you think that's enough to get them into the playoffs?
And to be the wild card or winner, they have to win the next division games. That's for sure. They have to beat Cincy again, and then split with Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Yep. Absolutely.
Real quick question about just the divisional games out there. Given that you're 3,000 miles away, is there still a pretty intense heat around the rivalries between like the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens?
Absolutely. We still have fans that can't figure out who they hate more, Baltimore or Pittsburgh. And, with Joe Burrow being from Ohio, there's less hate for the Bengals, it seems like. But Baltimore and Pittsburgh remain, very heated with our fans here.
I'm a Steelers hater, and he hates Baltimore. So.
Okay, there you go.
We have that discussion.
And I don't know who. Yeah, it's a tie for me. But people out here keep up with that is for sure, and it's really remarkable how loyal people could stay with this team, huh?
Yep, absolutely. We've been through some hard times, but hey, Bud, it's been wonderful having you on. We've really, really appreciated the time with you, and hopefully we get a chance to catch up in the future. So yeah, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it, and again, hope to talk soon.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Bud Genovese with the Bay Area Browns backers, and you're listening to the Burning River Sportscast. Go Browns.
Great talking with Bud from the Bay Area Browns backers out there. He's a legend in Browns backer circles.
We've heard his name mentioned like in
so many times
in the before and the after call, like with other Browns backers organizations as we're like planning the interview.
They're like, that guy has it going on.
We've heard his name a bunch of times, so it was good to finally talk with him. And legend in his own right, huge organization out there, 3,000 plus members. I mean, that is just a huge operation to be responsible for. So
I don't want to be in charge of 3,000 people.
Great job out there.